Keith Myers here. Again, I wanted to talk about the Gazelle punch. Gazelle punch, it sounds cool, doesn't it? It's also sometimes called the Gazelle hook. And this wasn't unique to Peekaboo boxing, but all the big Peekaboo boxing champions used it, including Jose Torres, Floyd Patterson, Mike Tyson. A lot of other people used it too. Rocky Marciano used it. You still see it. And it's called the Gazelle punch because it's just, you're just suddenly leaping into the air to hit the guy, right? I guess that's how it got its name. Works good for the Peekaboo guys because, remember, in the Peekaboo you're kind of shifting side to side typically, and you're loading one hip. And when I load one side, I've loaded to spring. Whether I spring this way or whether I load it and I spring this way, it's that crouch, that going down. I've loaded this hip, now I can use that. It's like a coiled spring. And so one of the ways to use that is if I'm at a little bit of a distance, and it's a good way for a Peekaboo fighter to close the gap too, to get where he wants to be, especially for a fighter that thinks, ah, he's too far away, he's got his hands down, he's kind of doing this kind of thing. So I load this hip, and then I'm going to spring forward with an overhand punch or a corkscrew punch, or however you want to refer to it. So it's hard to do slow because it's a hop, it's a leap. I don't want to leap up, I want to leap forward. So I load, and then I'm going to do this, right? So I load, and I hop, my punch, right? So I'm out here, I'm not in my in-fighter's range, I'm doing other things, and the guy's kind of dropped his arms, I see the opportunity, it's like ha ha ha, right? From this side, I load, I'm moving around, I load, right? And then I'm going to spring, boom, I load, and then I'm here. So, I think it was Tommy Hearns did it a little different. Instead of loading his hips this way, he would sink his weight down like this, and then just kind of leap straight, right? So you can see, you go from this to this, or from this to this. And as you do so, boom! And you could do it with a straight punch, but that curved punch, number one, it's kind of off on the peripheral vision. You might not expect it. And number two, as I leap and I'm coming down like this. So it just uses my body's own natural momentum, boom, as part of the punch. Right? I load, I'm leaping. So as I come down, boom, it just hits that way naturally. Boom! Boom! Okay? So that's the Gazelle punch. Obviously it's a risky punch. I could start to do that and I could run right into his jab. So you've got to use it sparingly. But it can be pretty valuable even in a street fight. Because in a street fight, if you know the dude's coming at you and there's no way you can get away, one great option, like, dude, I don't want any trouble, but here he comes. If I land the first punch, I have a whole lot more likelihood of surviving unhurt. So obviously from here, very good option is the Judo lead punch. Boom! Makes sense, right? This Gazelle punch is the same idea as doing your lead punch from a little bit of a distance, where I spring in with a burst and I hit the guy. Boom! Right? Okay, but let's say for some reason I don't want to go straight in, or I can't go straight in, or maybe he's got a center guard, or who knows. Kind of the equivalent of that is this Gazelle punch, where instead of going straight in, I'm going to go in at an angle. And I'm over here. Okay, so hopefully you can see that equivalence, where this is just kind of like another version of that lead straight, boom, with a little bit of a burst footwork. I'm just doing this. Okay, and watch in your boxing matches, and you'll see boxers do this. I think Rose Nagarjuna did it recently in her UFC fight too. So lots of people do this, right? Now you know what it's called. It's called the Gazelle punch.